It's very difficult to tell how old the plastic is. This was one of the reasons for going on the Japanese tsunami trip, because the scientists knew then that the plastic we were collecting and looking at was a year and 3 months old. But prior to that, we never know really where it enters the ocean. It's carried around by currents all over the world, so something could have entered in, Hong Kong. And, I find a lot of plastic washed up on the west coast of the UK that's come from the US and Canada, so it comes down the Gulf Stream. I think it is possible to replace most plastics with plant-based and starch-based plastics. The problem is that these cost more, and manufacturers aren't willing to pay 2 or 3 pence more to put these plastics in place, because they can produce the more polluting plastics a lot cheaper. And if one company is being seen to do that, then the other company doesn't want to do more sustainable plastics and cost more, because then they don't have the profits. But I think if legislation was put in place and made everybody do that, then everyone would be on a level playing field. My personal feeling is that we should be stopping plastic from entering the ocean in the first place. Rather than going and trying to clean up the oceans, if we actually put preventions in rivers, sort of barriers, and on land to actually stop things getting into the ocean, this would be more beneficial, because it's almost like a dripping tap. If the tap's sort of dripping, you want to mend it rather than just mopping up all the time. So that's my idea, is to really, clean-ups are brilliant, but on the next tide will come another wave of plastic, and it would be much more beneficial to stop it entering the ocean in the first place. This particular one, bottom right-hand side, the orange one, was from the tsunami. It was traced back to somebody who lost the ball in 2011. It was washed up on the west coast of the US. The ball on the bottom right-hand corner, the green one, is from Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela spent many years in captivity there. I chose the name penalty because penalty is obviously a mistake that happens in the game of football, but obviously as well, penalty is the price we'll all pay if we don't do something about the problem of plastics entering the ocean. I also created an image with all the balls collected from Europe, from the UK, and by one man. I was lucky enough to have the image published in The Guardian Eyewitness, also in over 30 different countries around the world. I was interviewed live on CNN in the US, and also engaging with the young generation is a really important part of my work. And this is to raise awareness of microplastics in the marine environment and the fact that plankton are now eating microplastics. This research was done at Plymouth University in the UK, and you can see the fluorescent pieces of plastic that have been ingested by the plankton. On the right-hand side is an experiment that I did with a tube of toothpaste to show microbeads. I created some microplastic particle samples of plastic, and I wanted them to look like plankton, so they were kind of like a trick in a way to look like science, but they're actually the pieces of plastic that I found. To show this, as an example here on the right hand side are plastic bottleneck tops, and I created the image on the left to look like a scientific sample. I created the project as a book because I wanted to almost trick the viewer to think they were looking at an old science book from the 1800s. This is the published book, and it's based on the memoirs and writings of John Vaughan Thompson over 200 years ago. My work's been published in The New Scientist, in the National Geographic in June this year, and also in the Financial Times. I'm very pleased that Science is sort of interested in publishing my images, because for them, if they have research papers that are sometimes hard to understand, my work can kind of help give science a visual voice in a way. And I'm very interested in getting my work seen in the communities, in public spaces, rather than in galleries where people might not feel comfortable about visiting. So to engage with communities and younger generation is my prime concern. And I'd just like to leave you with this map of the world. This shows where the plastic that I've collected for various different series has been recovered from. So it's not just certain places in certain areas, it is a global collection of marine plastic debris. Thank you very much for your attention.